8 Greek gods almost no one remembers, and the strange power they once held over the ancient world. 1. Erebus. He was one of the first beings to emerge at the beginning of all things, not a god of shadows on a wall, not a god of a moonless night. Erebus was darkness itself, the deep primordial blackness that existed before light, before sky, before earth. Hesiod, in the Theogony, places him among the very first entities to come into being, born from chaos alongside Nyx, the night. Erebus did not rule a kingdom. He was a place. The ancient Greeks believed that when a soul died, it passed first through Erebus on its way to the realm of Hades, a corridor between life and the underworld proper, a region of total absence. Hesiod records this lineage in the Theogony, lines 116 to 125, where the cosmos itself is mapped through divine birth. What is rarely mentioned is this: Erebus and his sister Nyx had children together, and one of those children was Aether, the upper sky. Darkness and night produced light. The Greeks understood, in mythological terms, what physicists would later say in their own way. You cannot have brightness without first having something for it to push against. 2. Aether, the bright, pure upper air, not the wind, not the sky we see from the ground. Aether was the rarefied atmosphere of the highest heavens, the air the gods themselves breathed. Mortals breathed air, the lower air, thick and heavy. The Olympians breathed ether. He was both a substance and a being, the divine medium of the upper world. In some traditions, when Zeus hurled his thunderbolt, the lightning traveled through ether before striking the earth. Ether had no temples. He had no myths of his own. He existed as a presence, luminous, eternal, untouchable. Hesiod names him in the Theogony as the son of Erebus and Nyx. Hyginus, in the preface to his Fabulae, repeats this lineage and adds that from ether and Hemera, the day, came earth, sky, and sea. Here is the surprising part. The word ether used by physicists in the 19th century to describe the medium that light traveled through came directly from this forgotten god. For nearly 2,000 years, scientists borrowed his name to describe something they could not see and could not prove existed. 3. Nemesis, goddess of divine retribution, specifically, the punishment of those who showed too much pride, too much fortune, too much arrogance before the gods. She did not punish crime, she punished imbalance. When a mortal grew too prosperous, too proud, or escaped justice that should have found them, Nemesis arrived. She carried a measuring rod and a whip. Her role was to restore equilibrium. The Greeks believed she was the reason no man could be too lucky for too long. Her most famous victim was Narcissus, the youth who rejected every lover and was made to fall in love with his own reflection until he wasted away beside the water. This story appears most fully in Ovid's Metamorphoses, Book 3, though the goddess herself is older. Hesiod lists her in the Theogony as a daughter of Nyx, born to torment mortal men. Pausanias, writing in the 2nd century, reports that Nemesis had a major sanctuary at Rhamnus in Attica, and that the cult statue inside was carved from a block of marble brought by the Persians. The Persians had intended to use that marble to build a victory monument after defeating Athens. They lost. The Greeks took the stone and carved it into the goddess of poetic justice. 4. Momus, the god of mockery, of satire, of harsh criticism. He was, in essence, a divine critic. His only function was to find fault. Momus criticized everything. He criticized the gods themselves. According to one tradition, when Zeus, Athena, and Poseidon competed to see who could create the most perfect being, Momus was called in to judge. He found flaws in all of them. He told Hephaestus that he should have built a window in the human chest, so men's true thoughts could be seen. He mocked Aphrodite's sandals. Eventually, the Olympians grew tired of him. They threw him out of the heavens. He became the god who lost his place not for violence, not for betrayal, but because he could not stop pointing out everyone else's failures. Aesop and later Lucian of Samosata wrote of him most extensively. Hesiod mentions him in the Theogony as a son of Nyx. Momus is the only god in the Greek pantheon banished from Olympus for being insufferably critical. The Greeks made the act of constant complaint into a divine offense. If you believe understanding these ancient stories matters, subscribe and hit the bell. It helps YouTube show this to more people who are looking for this kind of content. That said, let us continue. 5. Eris, the goddess of strife, of discord, of every quarrel that turned ordinary disagreement into something destructive. The sister of Ares. Where he brought open war, she brought the conflict that started it. She was not invited to the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, the parents of Achilles. Every other god was. Furious, Eris arrived anyway. She rolled a single golden apple into the hall, inscribed with 2 words, "For the fairest." 3 goddesses claimed it: Hera, Athena, Aphrodite. The dispute between them led to the judgment of Paris. Paris chose Aphrodite. Aphrodite gave him Helen. The abduction of Helen began the Trojan War. The story of the apple appears most clearly in the Cypria, a lost epic summarized by later writers. It is preserved in Hyginus's Fabulae, number 92, and in Apollodorus's Epitome. There is a detail that almost no one remembers. Hesiod, in Works and Days, says there were actually 2 Erises. One brought destructive war. The other brought healthy competition, the kind that drives a craftsman to outwork his neighbor. The Greeks believed that conflict, in the right form, was the engine of human progress. 6. Phobos, the god of fear. Specifically, the panic that grips a soldier on the battlefield the moment courage breaks. The son of Ares and Aphrodite, war and love. The brother of Deimos, terror. Phobos did not fight. He arrived where his father went and turned brave men into cowards. Homer, in the Iliad, describes how Ares yokes his chariot horses while Phobos and Deimos accompany him. When the war god moved, fear moved with him. Soldiers who saw the sons of Ares fled before swords were drawn. Phobos was, in effect, the divine personification of what a routed army feels in the seconds before it breaks. Homer references him in the Iliad, particularly in books 4, 11, and 13. Hesiod describes him on the shield of Heracles in the poem of the same name, with a face so terrible that no one could look at it directly. Here is the detail that most people miss. Alexander the Great, before the Battle of Gaugamela, is said to have offered a sacrifice to Phobos, not to drive fear away from his own men, to send fear into the Persian ranks. The Greeks believed you could pray for fear to land somewhere else. 7. Morpheus, the god of dreams. Specifically, dreams that take human shape. He could become any person, living or dead, and appear inside a sleeping mortal's mind. He was one of the Oneiroi, the 1,000 sons of Hypnos, the god of sleep. While his brothers shaped dreams of animals or landscapes or objects, Morpheus had a single specialty: the human form. He could imitate a gait, a voice, an expression, a gesture. The gods used him as a messenger. When they wanted a mortal to receive a vision in sleep, they sent Morpheus wearing the face of someone the dreamer would trust. His most famous appearance is in Ovid's Metamorphoses, Book 11, in the story of Ceyx and Alcyone. The goddess Juno sends Morpheus to appear in Alcyone's dream as her drowned husband, to tell her he has died. The word morphine, the painkilling drug that puts patients into a sleep-like state, was named after Morpheus by a German pharmacist in 1817. A god of imitation and illusion gave his name to a substance that imitates peace. 8. Tyche, the goddess of fortune, of luck, of every outcome that could not be explained by skill, by virtue, or by the will of any other god. Cities prayed to her for prosperity. Individuals prayed to her for safe travel and a long life. She was depicted blindfolded, holding a cornucopia in one hand and a rudder in the other. The cornucopia gave her gifts. The rudder steered destinies. The blindfold meant she did not see who she was helping or harming. She was, in the most literal sense, blind chance. As Greek philosophy turned more skeptical in the Hellenistic age, after Alexander's conquests had broken the old certainties, Tyche became one of the most worshipped gods in the ancient world. When men no longer believed Zeus controlled their lives, they turned to her. Pindar mentions her in his odes. Pausanias describes her cult statues across Greece. Polybius, the Roman historian, writes extensively about her role in the rise and fall of empires. The city of Antioch had a famous statue of Tyche, designed by the sculptor Eutychides around 300 BC. She sat enthroned with the river god Orontes at her feet. So many Roman cities afterward copied this statue that a seated crowned woman became the standard way to represent a city as a goddess. The Statue of Liberty, standing in New York Harbor with her crown and her torch, is a distant visual descendant of this forgotten Greek goddess of luck. 8. Forgotten gods. 8 forces the Greeks named, worshipped, and then watched fade from memory. What they share is something easy to miss. None of them ruled mountains or oceans or thrones in the sky. They ruled the things that happen inside us, the darkness we sit with at night, the fear that grips the chest before a hard moment, the dream we wake from and cannot forget, the single chance encounter that changes the direction of a life. The Olympians got the temples. These gods got the experiences. Perhaps that is why they were forgotten. Or perhaps that is why, even now, we still feel them every day, without knowing their names. If this video opened your eyes to something you did not know about these ancient stories, share it with someone who needs to see it. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.